the volume.
Turn up the volume.
You've arrived at the destination for all things Kentucky. This is the Bleed Blue Network Podcast.
What is going on, Big Blue Nation? Welcome into another episode of All UK Ball, or what we're going to do, call it today, is What the Hell is Going On in Georgia? SEC.
What the hell is going on? What is going on in Georgia?
The investigative reporting of Rando and Salena. 37 free throws to 9, you said, yesterday?
Against Oklahoma, yeah. And they were 38 to 19 for us. On Tuesday. And a lot of those came super late when they were just kind of hacking away at the end of the game to us to kind of keep any momentum flow going. Yeah, that's interesting because, I mean, it got real loud and I was putting it out there because I was very, very upset on Tuesday and Wednesday and really up till tip-off on Saturday. Orlando's pool and was it Stephen Anthony or whatever the hell the other guy's name is. High fade, just that boy, him and Orlando's just absolute bums. And the fact that you can be in a NBA gambling, betting scandal and then be officiating the SEC, or the other dude who just got fired because he sucked. It's like, yeah, the SEC's like, sure, let's bring him over because his resume is great. Fine. It's fine.
Yeah. But then back-to-back games at Georgia, you start thinking, is it? Is it officiating? Is it the school? It's definitely fishy. Somebody should look into it. It's really weird that
two teams went in there and were positively dominated, quote unquote, on the free throw line because of calls,
right? Yeah,
right. Yeah. They were because the Georgia's so aggressive. That's what it is. Yeah, that is very odd. Very odd. And I heard some.
And I would have to know the Oklahoma average free throws. I bet it's greater than 9.
Hold on. There's a thing called Google, and it's a great. Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Let me see.
GTS.
I didn't look this up
Google
beforehand.
But definitely something to look into. That being said, the fact that they beat Oklahoma, I was hoping they would because I think come Tuesday, they are a top 25 team. So that makes our loss look a little bit better. It's a road loss to a top 25 SEC team. It's a quad 1 loss now. It should be a quad 1 loss at the end of the season. But that home Georgia cookin needs to get looked into.
Yeah. According to Google, they're averaging almost 16 free throws a game. So they're not super aggressive, but still 39 is a lot.
Yeah.
But I
guess the other number to look at was what was Georgia shooting before these last 2 games. Like there's a big discrepancy there.
Who did Georgia play beforehand? Hold on.
Yeah, it would just be kind of like their non-SEC schedule type thing. But let's see. Georgia.
Google. So let's see. They played Ole Miss before. Ole Miss beat them, by the way. So in the Ole Miss game, Georgia only shot 17 free throws.
Wow.
Let me see.
I'm just picking random games here. So the Clemson game, they won that one. And they shot. Let's see, give me some 24 free throws. So, yeah.
They're not averaging that many is the problem. Here, Marquette, let me see. They lost the Marquette game, but let me see. Marquette, they only shot 19 free throws in the Marquette game.
Well, you know what? Those numbers I just told you, because we were just talking about the women's game before we went live here. Those are the women's Georgia Lady Dogs. So the stats that I'm throwing out there, don't listen to. Everything Selena said.
I'm on the men's. I'm on the men's.
You're pushing out right information. I'm like normal pushing out wrong information.
And their wins, if they average more. Okay, so they had 31 against South Carolina State, and they won that game.
Is that at home?
Yeah.
All right, dogs. Dogs, you're stepping into some shit. All right.
Let me see. They won at St. John's and they shot 20. No, they only shot 16 free throws there, but they were away. But it was also St. John's. But it seems like when they are home, let me see. Well, no, maybe not. Maybe it's just SEC play. They're suddenly their free throw game has went way up in the SEC play.
And at the end of the day, it's going to come out as happenstance. I mean, it's
probably so, but it's interesting to.
Yeah,
those are just
for them to come out
wild stats.
Yes, yeah, it's definitely interesting, especially, and we're gonna get loud about it because we just came off a big win, going on, could easily be 3-0 in SEC play, but we currently have 2 wins against SEC teams and 1 loss against SEC officiating. So that's how we're gonna game's gonna.
Don't get wrong. The boys did not play great. They didn't play their best game. But as I said on the BB and Ladies Unleashed podcast, Orlando's Pool should never ref a game ever again in his entire life. That man is dog water trash. Like, he's awful at his job.
Yeah.
Like, your lights went out again. I
always forget. I record out here in the garage, and I forget every time I got to press the button or the lights are going to go out. Yep. I'm over here like trying to wave my arms to get the dang motion sensor to go. Golly.
Oh, we're doing laps and we're back.
Thank God for my son's little light up frisbee he's got, or I'd probably eat a shin on my way to trying to find the lights scrambling through the dark. But I mean, it's Orlando's Pool is trash. I remember it came up last year. Someone had looked into his stuff and said, "Hey, this dude was in some gambling, betting stuff," and But you're right. At the end of the day, there are still opportunities to win. I will say a lot of those calls that got us questioning, like the ghost foul on Lamont Butler on that 3 after we cut it within 5. Like, a lot of those were costly, like time wise in the game.
The beautiful acting flop by Blue Kane. They called on Jaxson Robinson. That man went up there and a freaking pirouette in the air. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
He practices that shit. He does.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and he looks like the kind of guy that would practice that in his dorm room mirror, But he that game was gettable. Yes, the calls came at like momentum killing. We're trying, but it was another, even before the foul discrepancy really became like evident in the end of the first, going in the second half. The first 4 minutes of these games where we come out just slow and can't figure out the offense. Like, I thought it was going to be different because we come out, Pope runs a set play, instant 2 points. Okay, hey, the boys are rolling, and then it just kind of starts dying. But getting down by double digits on the road is going to be a recipe for failure. If that happens throughout SEC,
especially in the SEC, the SEC,
But that game, whatever, wash away Georgia. That one. So I will say on the last note here, personally for me, that one hurt even more because
your family's Georgia fans.
Yes, and how this is supposed to work is I'm supposed to know already that I'm going to lose football, but I'm supposed to win basketball. Like, it's supposed to be an even split. So when I lose basketball too, and like I'm not even like I was not okay in my own house.
You need a safe space to go to.
Yeah, the wife comes out here in the garage and was like, "Hey, you didn't tell me you're playing Georgia. Are we even supposed to be good?" Blah, 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 as they're winning, and I'm like, "Go away right now." This is this like passive aggressive thing that I know you're happy that your team is winning right now is not okay with me. And but yeah, so I was just silent in my own home after that loss. But great bounce back win.
Yes,
going to Stankville, getting a W. And they probably need to go ahead and learn that when you try to cash that check before payday, you're going to get burned. It's going to bounce. Because if you remember, I'm pretty sure they were the ones that put up on that Jumbotron, "Don't rush the court" last year when they were beating us.
Yes, they did. They
we
did.
ended up
That's
coming
right.
back winning that game.
Yes.
Hubbard hit the 3 to tie, but then Reed Shepherd was on the floater. I'm pretty sure that was that game.
It was.
So to line the seats with newspapers saying extra beat Kentucky, whatever the hell it said.
Oh, and don't forget the pom-poms. Pom-poms too.
So, come on. You should learn your lesson from now on. You keep doing your white out, but maybe stop printing some stuff. Stop putting on the Jumbotron because, the Cats are coming. And we have generations of Kentucky fans who have never seen a loss against Mississippi State. So,
at Mississippi State in the regular season. Yes.
What did you pull from that game? Whether it's the obvious of Jaxson Robinson finally got the game we were hoping for, the defense, they kind of the way the team spread it around, overcoming the sickness. What was the thing that stood out to you to get a gritty road win against the top 15 team?
Amari Williams.
Yeah, he was
Amari
the guy.
Williams. I know people like to give him so much shit and hate on him so much, but if he's going to give us a double-double and 6 assists in the CC every night, I'll take it every single night.
Yes.
Because, granted, the passes got lazy, and that's the reason why Mississippi come back too. It wasn't because our defense was terrible. We got lazy on offense. We had lazy passes. We didn't come to the ball. And that was what let them back into the game. But Amari Williams, if you can play with that energy, because I don't know if you guys saw the one play for the first 3 for J-Rob. He grabbed that rebound, got it out, and he went back to get kids that missed. Like, he was jumping, that energy. He brought energy in that game. And if you can give me a double-double with 6 assists plus every night, we're good. That's what we need from him. We don't need him to go score 30 points. We don't need him to average 25 rebounds a game. We just need him to do the double-double, do his job, and make sure he gets his assist off. That's what we need from him. Also, Ansley Almanor, my guy.
Yes.
My guy. We've been waiting for you to do the thing we knew you could do. Clutch threes.
They're going to... all right, they're also going to learn as we go through the season. You don't F with that man because Ansley's I put it out there. He's got the most
demon
dog
time
in him
yesterday.
Yeah, he's got the most dog in him. You don't want to piss him off because if there's anybody on that team who isn't just going to talk, is about business, and you get in his face. He's got to take you down. He'll drop you. It's Ansley. He's got a sweet exterior until you see the face just changes, and you're like, that boy, he might kill somebody. You just see, we just talking to him. He just, and we got to have him on the podcast. Yeah, exactly. We had on the podcast. He's such a good dude. He doesn't need to take the time to message me back. We had messaged back and forth before. I'll talk about his shoe game or he has a good game or whatever. I'll message him back. But he just seems, he's a sweet dude until you piss him off. And then he'll just go nuclear offensively. And, he's the one dude who I can count on crashing the board. He just does all the gritty stuff.
He will fight. He does the gritty stuff that doesn't always show up in the stat sheet as far as on the rebounding side or under the basket. But if you watch him, he is in there. He is pushing guys around. He's mucking it up. He's making it hard for the other team, which is obviously something we always need, that sort of mentality, especially in the paint.
Yeah, because Mississippi, like you mentioned, I think 8 of their 12 threes from Mississippi State happened in the second half, so that really got them into it. And they only shot 30% from 3 for the game. So they sucked in the first half. They were able to figure it out, and they're not a great 3-point shooting team, anyways. But if you let Hubbard get going, that dude can consistently give you 12 or 15. But he also can have a night where he'll have 30 plus out of nowhere.
And that's where Lamont Butler came up huge last night.
Yes. Yes.
Hubbard got his 15. Don't get me wrong, but Lamont was on him like glue the entire night.
Isn't
it made his life difficult?
Yeah, and you see great Lamont defensive plays throughout the entire game. But what's most impressive is you can go back through all of these big time wins that we've had this year. It's the last 2 minutes of the game, the last segment of the game, 4 minutes where he finds a way to get a stop, or just put clamps on somebody. And it's like he saves his best stuff for when it matters the most.
Yeah.
Hubbard not being able to go off. And some of the other guys, Matthews had a good game, but Hubbard not be able to get
Cam
20
Matthews
plus.
is their engine. He is the engine for that team. That man is everywhere. He is one of the reasons why they came back, because his defense. He's got incredible hands, and he had so many steals and tips. He had like 6 steals last night by himself. Like, he's the reason
he's a hell
I came
of a ball
back.
player, hell of an athlete.
He is their engine. Like, Hubbard is their go-to scorer, their go guy. But without Matthews, they would not be the team they are. 1,000%.
Yeah, I agree. And that reverse dunk that he had on Jaxson Robinson.
Nasty.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
You don't see a lot of dudes try to do that move. But he did it with ease. Yeah, but I mean, it was they had some guys show up. Melendez or 22, whatever his name is, he got some clutch buckets.
He was Georgia last year, and he was their shooter for Georgia too. Like, that's So I mean, he is one of, like, he was brought there to shoot the ball.
Yeah. And the crowd seemingly was ruckus. Like, they came to do what they were supposed to do and make life difficult for Kentucky. But the big difference was we got down, but it wasn't double digits. I think we ended up losing the first segment, but the middle 8 we won. And we were able to kind of close it out, find a way. And you mentioned Ansley, like, those 3 threes were just crowd killers, silencers, man, like, because they weren't going away. And he saw one go in, catch, shoot, another one go in, catch, shoot, and the third one, he was jacking it up. And when the fourth one let go, I was like, oh my goodness, if this thing goes in,
Batman,
yeah. But it was the elephant in the room so far for this team in conference play, or even the big games. I think even if you go back to Duke, like, there was a rough game. We were talking about, he had 8 point, and we got a win for Jaxson Robinson, if I remember that correctly. Yeah. The elephant in the room was, hey, Pope's guy, who we were in on Chaz Lanier, and we lost on him, and it was like, hey, it's, trust that Pope's guy is going to exit the draft. This is the dude he wants. The money's going to get spent on Jaxson Robinson because he knows the system, and Pope trusts him. And we haven't seen that investment pay out, really,
in big games.
In the big games, yeah, he's had massive games. We've seen that he has the talent, but in last night's game, he saw that first one go in, and
it was over.
It was
done.
It was good to see. You hate scoring being the thing that kind of carries a player through. Like, hey, if you're not on one night offensively, defense, whatever, assist, whatever you can do to kind of, his body language does seem to get down at times when he's not having a good offensive game. But to see him get those buckets in, and to see him smiling when he was in making those threes and he's making plays, he seemed to get his joy back last night. Playing basketball. We'd seen him doing videos 9:00 at night at Rupp Arena, taking extra shots, those sort of things. You'd seen the one-on-one embraces in the good times and the bad times with Coach Pope. I think Pope even got asked on one of his either radio show or the pregame show, like, hey, you potentially think about benching J-Rob and put him in that 6-man role because that's what he did so well at BYU. And Pope was like, nah, like, I trust this guy. And to see him go off like he did, 7 for 10 from 3. What did he end up having? 25, 26 total? 27 total. Man, if that's his coming out party, we're going to be real dangerous. Real dangerous.
I think sometimes, and I was talking to my friend Kyle, different Kyle today. He texts me, and I would tend to agree with this. It's, yes, these are 5th-year players, right? Yes, these are older guys. Okay. They all know what they're capable of. So all that time, it's not, quote unquote, that they're soft, maybe, but it's they just overthink everything, right? Like, they get in their own head too much. They don't just play the game. But I was talking to another friend today, from another podcast, and he said this will be the springboard for Robinson to go off the rest of the year. He's seen him do it before.
I hope so.
And I was like, I will hold you to this.
Yes.
I will hold you to this. So we'll see. But I mean, I can see the guys being their age and whatever, getting in their head. Because you got to think too, they came from smaller schools to come to Kentucky.
Yeah.
Like, that's an entirely different ball game. That's a different ballpark. Like, when you're Kentucky and you're playing at Kentucky and you're on the road, every team wants to beat you, no matter what. No matter if you're ranked or unranked, whatever, every team wants to beat you. And it takes a mental adjustment to know that you can't have an off night in the SEC on the road. You can't do it. It's just not possible, or you're going to lose, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I had beginning of the season had talked about, hey, I don't believe this team's going to have hangover games. Like, they're going to understand the quote unquote assignment. That they're going to be well coached. And we've had stinkers against unranked teams. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, what in my take, the kind of like epitome that I had is, okay, these dudes, and I said it last night on the watch long, and I put the posts out there, the video I did my little therapy video driving in the car. It helps me at my hour drive. Just kind of, because if not, I'm going to go to work in just a bad mood, and that's not fair.
Right.
So I just got to let's go ahead and get it off my chest here. Even though it's still, I'm at the point now, relationship with some of the guys I have at work, where I walk in and the first thing they go, ooh, bad loss. And I'm like, see, I can't start off my day like this. Don't do this to me. Not as soon as I walk in. Yeah. But yes, that's where it is right now. Kentucky has seemingly affected my work and home life. But it's almost like these guys didn't quite realize or understand that they are no longer David, right? They are Goliath now. So when they're going against Duke, when they're going against one of these top 10 teams, whatever, when they play Tennessee, when they end up playing Auburn, like, yeah, those teams aren't Kentucky. Like, Duke is on that level. They, those sort of like Gonzaga, not so on the level, but it's a big game, right? Right. They're getting up for that, and the environments are kind of mutual. Like, people hate Kentucky, but they also
hate Duke.
Yeah, and exactly, and or the Duke program, they look at themselves as like, hey, we're Duke, you're Kentucky. Like, they think they're on a pedestal above us. But when you go and play Georgia or Clemson or some of these not legacy great blue blood basketball programs, you're the hunted now, right? So you have to understand that everybody's going to get up for you, and I think those environments may have affected the team early on in the season, and that's got to get coached out of them, and it's also got just mentally just kind of like got to leave them. Like, every time we go, like, Andrew Carr, you're no longer at Wake. That when you beat Duke, everybody's excited. Like, now you're at Kentucky, and everybody wants you to lose. It's the expectation though for you to beat Duke too, though, right? Like, that's the difference, is their expectations. Yeah, that's a good point. And you play a little more free. Right. Their expectations. You don't have the weight of, oh, we're supposed to win this game every single night. But winning the game last night showed me that they have kind of got over that hump, right? Like, they're like, okay, now we get it. Like, now we understand. Like, this is every night we're on the road. Every night we're at home. This is what we have to do. Like, it's no plays off. We have that target on our back now. I think because that's a hard place to win, to be fair. Like, and that team is not bad. Like, they're extremely athletic. They have good players, right? Like, that's not a bad team, and that's a hard place to play because the crowds are always into it. So by winning that game on the road, that proved a lot, not only to us as fans, but to themselves too. Like, hey, we got this. We can do this. This isn't our problem. Yeah, and as a fan base, they're hungry too because they know the stats of their loss record. Against Kentucky at home, they were so close last year from a crazy performance by Hubbard. And like you said, they are a talented team from the transfers they got. And Hubbard, if you remember, last year there was like whispers he was going to the transfer portal. Maybe he even did go to the transfer portal. He ended up coming back. There were rumors of it, I think, and I don't know if that was Mississippi State fed or if that was UK fans doing the whole thing where we're going to say this and hope it takes off. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that was.
was one of those things.
Maybe it was just Twitter smoke, but I remember it being out there and everybody was like, hey, if you can have, I don't remember if it was before, if it was, before Cal or after Cal.
It was before Cal. It was before Reed even announced. They're like, oh, come back and play with Reed next year. It'll be ridiculous. Like, that was the whole thing on the Twitter Spaces.
That's right, because there was that picture that was like respect from him. Okay. Yeah, so, but we were all like, hey, if there's even a chance you can get this guy, you go get him. Because like I said, he's an average 12 to 15 point per game player. On top of the fact that, like a match, he can just go off. And he is absolutely fearless. Like, he's just going to pull up from wherever he feels comfortable with. He shifts, he's quick, like to be his size and his great assist turnover ratio, and just he plays control.
Boy got hops too. I'll tell you what.
Oh yeah, hell of an athlete.
Dude can jump.
So yes, a talented team. They were 14 in the country for a reason.
They only lost one game too before then. So.
Yeah, and what's crazy is, and everybody has said it, we've said 100 times, Bruce Pearl said it yesterday, and I do have to, I said this on a watch along yesterday too, and it I almost couldn't get it out. Like, I was like almost, because I hate Bruce Pearl with that passion. I hate him. I think a lot of it is stemmed from him at Tennessee, and like I said yesterday, a lot of it is also he's just kind of like a slob of a human being. Like, you see him, you're like, dude, you got too much money to look the way you do. Always disheveled and like what. But yesterday, Janiyah Broome goes down, and he finds a way while they're losing, and finds a way to win that game on the road against, I think, a decently talented South Carolina team. They're 0-3 in the SEC, but I do think they got some talent. I think Parrish is a good coach. But he said it yesterday, how good the SEC was. And Georgia probably going to be in the top 25. We mentioned that before. And we get an A&M team at home they lost, but I think 10th in the country right now is what they're ranked at. Man, like, that's good for us because we can get some losses, and it's just good competition for when you get to the tournament. You're kind of more seasoned and
battle tested. For sure.
Yep.
Yes.
But I do kind of miss the days of old where we got a little bit of a break where it's like, hey, a team's going to come to Rupp and it's just going to be an easy win, kind of like how Louisville's been the last couple of years.
That does not exist anymore. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like I consistently during basketball season, my little tradition is during the Kentucky game, I'll pour me a drink and enjoy it. But these ones, they're so stressful, it's not enjoyment anymore. It's just like, it's stressful. And I don't know how much my liver can take right now. It's I'm not built for it anymore either.
Palpitations around the BBN Nation in these games, like it's a lot. Like, it's crazy. Every game is like, so far has been like this, and it's like, okay, can we just get a small break to where we're like, all right, we have this in the bag, not a problem.
Yeah.
But
yeah, especially,
it's good for the league overall, though, for it to be as competitive as it is. And it's only going to do good things for us in the tournament at the end of the year. Yeah. Because, I mean, when our next 7 games are all quad 1 games, and I think almost every one of them are ranked, you're not going to face that. You're not going to face, well, you will, but not to that caliber, if that makes sense, in the tournament every single night in the tournament.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to have your Auburns, Tennessees every night. You're not going to have that.
Right. And when you get to the Sweet 16, you get to the Elite 8, every game's going to be tough. But to be able to pull from that environment, or pull from that experience, that's what I should say. And to have the dudes, that have already been there before, to have a Lamont Butler, that's sort of to lead this team. Because as much offensive firepower is on this team, and Brea can go off, and Jaxson Robinson can go off, and Andrew Carter be consistent. You talk about double-doubles from Amari. Never know when Ansley's going to get the ball, and his hand's going to get hot. All that is great, but Lamont's the centerpiece of this team. He is the one, the thing that keeps the gears turning for us to be able to make a deep run, and him being that dude consistently in the tournament and potentially getting a healthy Kerr back, and him able to kind of be that guy, not offensively, but that defensive menace too. I think those are 2 key. Our point guard play, our guard play in general, has got to be what it's been during these big top 10 games or top 15 games.
Yeah.
To do something special in March. But we did go 1-1 this week. How do you think the polls play out? What's the consequence look like come Tuesday when the rankings drop?
Well, I will say the fact that Georgia just also beat Oklahoma will be in our favor because Oklahoma was 17 in the country when they beat them. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to weigh that. I could see us being anywhere between 6 and 10 again. Like, it just depends on how they weigh the Georgia win and Mississippi State win. Again, like I said, it's in our favor that Georgia beat Oklahoma. Oklahoma is also ranked. But
yeah, I think the committee will look at it, and honestly, I would be okay if they just rinse and repeat from last week and say, hey, you all lost one. You go in that 10 spot. If you beat a top team, Texas A&M will drop as well. But if you beat a team, you'll potentially go up. I don't know that the committee looks at the Georgia loss and gives us too much favor right now, or the AP poll does. I think where that'll play is in the year when it's a tournament seeding time frame, and our losses are against XYZ team who is ranked and still don't have a quad 2 loss or a quad 3 loss, that sort of thing. And I think right now we're the only team in the country that has 4 quad 1 wins. Is that right? Yeah. So
only team in the country. Yes.
So that sort of thing plays. Now with the Georgia loss, is there, with how tough the schedule is, do you see a legitimate path to winning the SEC? Or right now, are we looking at just be one of the top 4 teams so we get the double bye in the tournament?
We have to win out, I think. Or at least, at last, we have to win games, put it that way. I mean, we cannot drop a game that we're expected to win.
Yeah, all the home games you got to win for sure.
Have to win all the home games, and we're going to have to get some road wins as well.
Yeah.
Now,
I think in order to make it happen, you have to either win both of Bama or both of Tennessee, and you have to beat Auburn, right? I think we only get Auburn once.
We only get Auburn once. That was March 1st. Yeah. I think if you, you might drop one Bama one just because it's at Bama. But I think if you win both Tennessees, and then beat Auburn at home, then I think you're doing well. Auburn's tough though, but also with Broom being out, that's huge. He's also their go guy. Like, he is the guy on their team that makes kind of everything run. And look, I don't like Auburn, but I hate it for that kid because he has gotten so much better overall, and he's a hell of a player. Like,
he was leading the polls in National Player of the Year, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's tough. Yeah, he's and I think he has had a pretty significant injury plagued college career too, which is unfortunate. Hopefully the talent carries. I don't know how it was a sprain from what Pearl said, a pretty bad sprain. It looked gross. Though. It looked real gross though. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like I felt it. Like, I feel like it hurt me watching it. I was like, my ankle's hurt now too.
Yep. Yeah. You're just like, nothing should bend that way without it, snapping. It didn't it, but it's so hopefully he's fine for the young man. But yeah, to be able to play them with Janai Broomless team potentially in March, it would definitely be a benefit for us. And I'll take the wins as we can get them. I do think it's probably a stretch, unless the things like the people you were talking to before and your conversations about, hey, this is the thing that will get Jaxson Robinson just absolutely going, and we're going to get double doubles and some offensive production from Amari and one of Ansley or Berea or Lamont. So there's going to be a surprise game where you're going to get multiple threes from one of these guys. Then potentially we go on a run and we only end the season with 5-6 losses. But I think realistically, we are, now in that 2 through 4 spot. But I think that's still very, very playable. And to be completely honest, an SEC regular season title means not a damn thing to me. win
Don't say
in
that
Nashville.
too loud, okay?
I get it, but like I need SEC tournament play. I need a Sunday game in the tournament, and I need a deep run in March, right? If if we're in the 5th seed, I'm going to be upset because it means we lost games we shouldn't have. But I need a Sunday in Nashville, and I need a Elite 8 type year to where I actually feel, because we could come back here in March and say, holy hell, this team figured it out. They're the number 1 seed in the SEC, and we got the double bye. We're a 1 or 2 seed in the tournament. If we're not holding up a trophy on SEC tournament Sunday, or getting through the first 2 weekends of NCAA tournament, it all means nothing. That's just how I feel.
I got a thing about winning the SEC tournament. I got a thing about it.
Yeah.
I feel like, and maybe this is a Cal's team thing, I don't know, but I feel like when when the Kentucky teams win the SEC tournament, they don't do as well in the NCAA tournament. Now, the past couple of years, that didn't mean shit, because we didn't do good in either one.
Right.
We didn't do either one. But in the previous years, when we won the SEC tournament, it was like NCAA was kind of a fizzle out. But I'm with you. I just want to play more than one game in the SEC tournament, right? Like, play on Sunday, please. Let's do that. And yeah, let's get out of the first and out of the second weekend. Like, and that seems stupid to say because we're Kentucky and we should have higher expectations than that. But we've been so let down the past couple of years that we're like, damn it, let's just play longer than one game, please.
Yeah.
Like,
no, 100%. And what's been so painful as well, and not even mentioning the coaching aspect of it, just the players that we've seen come and go and not have that tournament success.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Oscar will go down as one. He will have a 34 jersey in the rafters when it's all said and done. I believe it. Like,
1,000%.
He deserves that. National Player of the Year just comes
unanimous
back.
National Player of the Year. Like, unanimous. Yeah.
And just what he did carrying a team for 2 years that he was here. And then we get the Reed and Rob and Antonio and Trey and all of these guys, even Justin Edwards, he had his moments, and we were all hoping he was going to figure it out because of the guy that he was expected to be, coming in as that late addition on that Cal team. And I remember it was a tweet that went out. It was like, before the SEC tournament, we could either have 2 more games with this team that we love so much, or we could have like 7 or 9 or whatever it is throughout the tournament and the NCAA. And I was like, there's 0 chance we only get 2 more games of this team. Like, there's 0 chance that we only get to see these guys play twice. And then it's like first round of the SEC tournament gone. And okay, well, who cares? We listen to Cal, and it's going to be okay. And then we get Jack Golke, and then it's like, and then we went to talking. Yeah, then we talking about like, okay, do we get Z back? Do we? Is Reed going to the draft? We're just praying for good news. So I just need a year of deep turnaround, so we look back at this team, and because this team is loved like that, right? Everybody on this team that transferred in accepted Kentucky, as the school that it is and what it means. We've talked about this before, and what Jaxson Robinson said at halftime in Gonzaga is like, you're embarrassing this school right now. Step it up. Like, so when Pope says this team truly cares, and he talks about how emotional Amari is, like, you can see it. Like, it's not just
I love that he's so emotional. I love that this big 7-foot freaking giant dude is like, hey, I love you guys. I freaking love that so much. Yeah,
it is. That is pretty cool, and you're right. I am one of the ones that it's kind of like you're hard on your kids, right? Because it's like your expectations are so high, so when they don't meet them, you're hard on them for, even though you shouldn't be, because they're still doing great. I feel like I'm that way with Amari. I'm like, dude, you are so big and can be so talented. Right. I just want him to work on his hands. It seems like these big mitts that he has can't catch a basketball, which seems frustrating, which I talked about on the watch along yesterday. I think that's why he doesn't go up and yam it more often, because he's not comfortable with like gripping the ball, and you see some of the passes. But you're correct. Like, the dude is a baller. He's done great things for us. When he comes wanting to play and wanting to, bang in the paint and be aggressive and be the dominant force that he can be down there, he's special. And to have that kind of care too behind it, where it's not just, I'm here for my last season of ball, and hopefully it turns into something special, and I'm playing, pro ball later on, or I'm just going to collect a big NIL check and say I got to play at Kentucky, right? This means something to all these guys. And when Pope says it, we see it too. So this team is loved like some of the great ones of the past, and to be able to be like
them. I love them.
Yeah, I do. I put it out there, and I think people think I'm joking, but I truly do. Like, Mark Pope, I love you more than most of my family. Okay? So, met you one time. You took a cool picture with me at the Bluegrass Airport.
Remember that.
That's all I needed, right? And all these winning basketball games. And yeah, I would give up an uncle or an aunt, if you just pull him in, like I wouldn't even miss him. But I won't say which one, though, I think they do listen to the show, so it's just like I'm like
keep it your noggin.
A blanket statement. Yeah. But and the same with the players. Like, I have invested. I got a Brea jersey. I got a Robinson jersey. I got a Kerr jersey that has to get fixed because they put the wrong damn name on it. So that's getting taken care of. So like I got my Ansley 15 right there. So like I gotta make sure like I want to be able to put these up and be like, God, this team was special, and not like, hey, these players were special, but we got let down one more time. So that rant being said, I would bet significant amount of money that they don't disappoint and they figure it out. And we do look back going, I don't know if we're hanging number 9, but we do look back going, man, for Pope's first year and bringing in these players, like this will be one that we never, ever forget.
Yeah, no, I think so. Yeah, I agree with that. What if we do a number 9 though? Listen,
Mike, I'll be in Lexington with you. Burning shit down.
We will be on Stage Street burning stuff with them. Okay. I will I will find a couch somewhere. I don't know where. I'll find it and I'll burn it.
Yeah, I'm probably doing things that like liable to get like clearances pulled, like just, job gone, that sort of like absolutely belligerence. But
Or they
100%. Oh, for sure worth it. For sure it'll be. Yeah. Like, was it really worth it? Yeah, yes, it was.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah. Did you watch this team? It was worth it. But yeah, I think I honestly the excitement of last night's win and bounce back forward, I have not even peeked at any of the A&M stats and what to expect. I'll have to do that tomorrow and get, or maybe I'll just go into the game ignorant and hope we win. So I can even give like an assessment of who we need to stop and those sort of things.
Well, I don't know if Wade Taylor will be back or not. He is their go guy. But if you've watched an A&M team before, and this is Buzz Williams' bread and butter, they play hard and they rebound like psychotic people. They rebound. I mean, it's stupid. Like, the entire team pressures the board. They get so many rebounds. And they also play very fearless, right? Like, that's just that's their identity. So while I'm very happy that we out-rebounded Mississippi State, that effort's going to have to be like double against A&M. Like, it is what it is. Like, they have shooters and they rebound.
The only thing I know about this A&M team is that from the opening tip to the final buzzer, Buzz Williams is going to look like his face is going to pop and he's just going to be cherry red and like hollering and losing his mind. He's just going to be sweating through his jacket, through his shirts, sweating through all of it. Yeah. Like you got kids, that show, that movie, I think it's on Disney, Elemental. Mm-hmm. The little short red anger emoji guy that does, the angry guy. Blows in that's him. That's just like him on these just little guy just like getting ready to explode on the sideline.
Yeah. We have two massive games this week. A&M on Tuesday, Alabama in the house on Saturday.
Yeah,
and we know who Alabama is, and they're tough. Like they are tough. It is Grant Nelson is essentially Andrew Carr. Andrew Carr is Grant Nelson. Like that is that.
Yeah, and they're well coached. They can play defense. Sears is an absolute stud as well. So like we've said multiple times, guard play is going to be crucial. Can Lamont shut this dude down like he's shown to be able to do in the past? And then like you've been hollering, can we at least be even in the rebound margin, especially on and limit offensive rebounds that turn into second chance points?
That's the key. Limiting offensive rebounds. Yeah,
that was killer in Florida, and I don't know how we overcame 15 O boards and 31 points. I don't know how that happened, but you tell me we do it too many more times, and I'm gonna say it's a recipe for some L's.
Yeah.
But you know what, Salena, all that being said, not being someone who has to do a scouting report, all I gotta say is if our guys play the way that they have played, they put it together, it doesn't matter who the other team plays. We come out with a win. We're gonna put up 95 to 106 consistently.
It's hard to beat that if we're scoring that high every game.
We're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. And especially if we can get our defensive numbers back to be, top 40 Ken Palm-ish, man, we looking special come into the season. But it's a bunch of ifs right now. Just kind of got to put it together.
Yeah.
Well,
I will shout out the women's team. They won today. They beat Auburn 80-61. They are now 4-0 in the SEC. They have one loss in the season against North Carolina. They are really good. I don't know what to say. They're just good. Georgia Amore is ridiculous.
A lot of talent on that team. Very well coached team.
He is ridiculous. Claire,
SEC's on notice.
When you have your 6'5" center hitting threes, that's a nightmare. Matchup nightmare. What are you gonna do? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
So
special talent on that team again, and another great story with Kenny Brooks coming in. Talking about the men's team hanging a banner. Shoot. You tell me that this women's team gets to a Final Four, I'll start acting belligerent as well. Like that'll get me excited just to see Kentucky, in the prominence that they deserve to be in the basketball world, whether it's men's or women's or both. Not outside the realm of possibility either. But yeah, your coverage on I love getting on Twitter and watching your coverage of the team. And
I love the women's team. They're so fun.
I saw your tweet about Georgia taking somebody's head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Oh my god! The girl literally left the game. She left the game after Georgia crossed her out of her entire soul.
Like because her feel bads were hurt or her body was hurt.
I don't know.
Or both.
Georgia crossed her and she ended up face first on the ground. Girl tripped over the air, the sky, like her own toes. I don't even know. Like she left the game. She left the game.
Disrespectful.
So, it was disgusting, and I was like, oh, that was bad. Oh, that was nasty.
Well, good on her. Yeah, she's a hell of a talent. We talked about her on a couple of shows. Kenny Brooks, like Pope did with Jaxson Robinson, Kenny Brooks getting her to follow him will be massive on this team. Talent and scheme understanding with expectation wise, the whole locker room piece of it as well is massive.
Yeah.
Salena, I hope we get on next week and we're talking about back-to-back dubs and it's not a ebb and flow type of win or week. We need to beat Bama at home. We need to be A&M at home.
We owe A&M for last year.
Yes.
They beat us in the SEC tournament last year. That's a payback. This is the payback game. We need this.
Yes. And Nate Oates knows what it's like to lose in Rupp Arena. So, and he knows.
Let's refresh the feeling for him.
Oh, yeah.
Keep it fresh in his mind.
Remind him that we can drop 120 on you, and this team probably more likely to do it even than last year's team. So,
yes.
regardless, that Alabama game is going to be exciting. I mean,
it'll be a crazy game. Yeah.
Yeah. That could be NBA type level scoring, at least on the scoreboard. But as always, Salena, it was good talking to you. Thanks for holding the podcast down. As I just come in completely blind, you at least had some good analysis. I started off giving stats on even the wrong team. So as typical, you kind of keep this thing going together. But good talking to you on this Sunday. Hope you have a great week. And I know we'll be probably both happy and mad texting back and forth for the game. And hopefully it just ends with a W.
Fire tweet's gone out. Don't worry.
That's what we do. We are emotional and we overreact. And when we win, we get loud.
We are belligerent.
And when we lose, we blame the SEC officiating crew because y'all suck. But
amen.
On that note, bleed blue. Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Peace. I know you liked that last time.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Bleed Blue Network podcast. We hope you enjoyed diving deep into the world of Kentucky sports with us. Don't forget to stay connected by following us on Twitter at BleedBNation. Your feedback means the world to us. So take a moment to leave a review. Not only does it help us improve, but it also helps others discover the show. Until next time, keep cheering, keep listening, and keep bleeding blue.